زيتونتي يا نبضة الوادي الوفي يلي القرى في ظلك تقيم عراسها دبكة صبايا وشباب.
What made you inspired to join Harassmap News?
Okay, because I'm totally interested in the field of multimedia, because I work as a designer really. So I wanted to always, and I'm totally interested in the sexual harassment issue in Egypt, because I think it's very effective in the community in a way. So I wanted to join Muse to learn about videography and and use it in my life.
This project gives the Americans idea about how Egyptians think and how they deal with problems and how they cooperate with each other. And also it reflects our flexibility to deal with any other nations. It's not only on the media, it's completely different to be here in the Middle East. Outside Middle East, you see it's a very fearing place, I know, but when you live here, from my experience and from the project experience, it's not fearing at all, because always the media concentrating on the hotspots, and the other spots it's normal 90% of the time, and we are here and safe and working with each other, and I think this is reflected by the co-working space and working by internet to the people in the US, and I think it's a good chance for them to more involved about Egypt. Egypt is not only pyramids and the Nile River, it has a lot of things to experience.
So, what was the impact for you with connecting to students in America and working with people in a different country?
The impact was a good impact on me. Personally, I have a relation with the Seattle team, the American team, and I have a good idea about how they deal with the project and how they thinking of doing tasks. So I have a good idea about the US society and how the students deal with the problem and solve it. So this is one good impact on me. The second one that it's improved a little bit my English language for the American native speakers. So this a good point. Also, it's the first time to work with the people via internet. So it's a good experience with me. It was important for me to be here in a co-working space like Rashid. It was a new idea. It's a new idea in Egyptian society, and I think it have a lot of benefits for the people to get more relations and more friendships, and to maybe have some business. It's also cheaper to have a co-working space with internet access and with a comfort environment, like you feel like you are at home sometimes, and sometimes you feel like you are with one of your friends or something. So it's away from the home, because home you cannot do what you want, because home is not sufficient time to work or concentrate. One of the biggest challenges in the project was the communication, because the communication between the people via internet and Facebook was a little bit difficult, and it was a big challenge for us to figure out how to deal with it. Also the language, a little bit. I'm speaking English, but not that good, so I try to catch the words of the people.
It's a nice experience, يعني, بس there was like so much يعني non-organizing in it, and it didn't work that well in the project. But overall, it was a nice experience because it motivated me to.
What do you think can be improved for next time? Like, should something be done differently? Should it be through email? Should it be through like one-on-one contact, or what do you think?
For me, the time first, we need more time for such a project, because the time little bit was squeezed, and the task distribution was a little bit not organized for Egyptian team. Also, if we have follow-up between the email and Facebook, so it will give us a chance to catch the. I think we started to make this after a while, so it's already done in the first portion. That's it.
What kind of problems do you think this group faced, and how can it be better solved next
I
time?
think it wasn't well executed like it ought, and I think that the information was less for me. It was like a really beginner level, and I think that it took so much time and effort, and it wasn't totally irrelevant for the time and effort that it can be done for.
Why do you think sexual harassment happens in Egypt?
Well, first because of economic problems, people that can't afford to get married, they do it. They sexually harass girls because they can't afford to get married. And second, because they have thoughts that girls, they are trying to help them get better or wear more clothes, clothes that doesn't show their body, so they are trying to help them in that way.
So they want them to be more conservative almost.
Exactly.
Okay. Do you have any experiences of that, or how often do you think it happens?
Usually each girl in Egypt is...
That's how common it is.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, when you walk in the streets, you hear people telling you awful words or trying to touch you, or that happens a lot with each girl.
Why do you think sexual harassment happens in Egypt?
I think sexual harassment happens in Egypt because of cultural restraints and because religious oppression and stuff like that forces people to always get veiled and stuff like that. I think that's what causes people to be so stressed and so and that's why a lot of men in Egypt sexually harass girls and stuff, verbally and physically. I think society should educate people more liberally and more open-minded thinking and stuff like that. But that's a really long process. I don't think it will happen anytime soon, even if we started now. But I think this should be happening to the generations to come. But we should also implement strict laws against sexual harassment and stuff like that, because we should force it to stop. For instance, many girls in Egypt are forced to cover their faces and forced not to talk to men and stuff, and that's why many men are so oppressed, and because they don't see women and stuff, so that's why it's as if they're just sexually stressed and stuff, and that's why they tend to sexually harass girls. When girls report the sexual harassment incidents, nothing happens to the men, and sometimes even the girl is the one who gets affected because everyone blames her and stuff like that. So this is horrible. I think strict laws should be implemented, and not just being there, but they should be actually implemented. A friend of mine who's here with us at this university, the American University of Egypt, which is supposedly a liberal university, and people are usually open-minded. You find less sexual harassment incidents and stuff, but there were workers here at the university and they sexually harassed the girl, and this girl reported the issue. It went to court and stuff. But the girl actually ended up, people started harassing her on Facebook. They started sending her a message, threatening her and stuff. So she had to deactivate her Facebook account and stuff like that.
Do you think sexual harassment happens in Egypt?
I think a lot of people are sexually frustrated. Also, I think it has something to do with the perception of women in our society. A lot of men, they only view women as an object and not as something more. They don't think that doing this will actually hurt a person's feeling. So that's why I think it happens. I think if you look now at any music video clip shot by some Egyptian or any Arab singer, and even, no, the thing is that even women, they do it, they contribute to it by just doing videos and movies that show them as a sexual object. So I think that they're contributing to the problem. That being said, I don't think that we should censor anything. However, I think that maybe part of the reason would be to make the men aware of how much sexual harassment affects any girl, and just try to make them think about how their wives or their mothers or their sisters would feel if this happened to them. And then the other part is that you'd actually enforce harsh punishment on sexual harassment. I was groped during Ramadan, and it was during Ramadan, for God's sake, yani. And it was very traumatic because this was the first time that someone actually physically does anything to me. And I was 16 years old or something, so that was like, whoa, no. And then the other thing that got me to think is that my friend, I was walking with my friend, it was when we were at school, and we were crossing the street, and then this group of guys, they started throwing rocks at her, and she's veiled. So there's really nothing that she can do. Halas, it's not her clothes. What is it? Maybe they feel that they're, I don't know, because of I was reading this article, it was actually quite interesting. They were saying that men in our society, they feel that they're not masculine enough, and this is the way to show that they are masculine. Because of the economic conditions, the political oppression. So men are oppressed as well on a different level. So this is how they're reacting to it.
Yeah.
Raising awareness amongst women in the sense that they have to know that this is not happening to them because there's something wrong with them. No, it's because those men, they're just peep. They're stupid, and so they need to step up for their rights. If anything happens to anyone on the street, they should go and report it, and then those reports should be taken seriously. Law must be enforced. A harsh punishment must be given to sexual harassers.